Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to Get Hit with the Truth. So today, doing the announcement for the Canelo versus Triple G 3 is on. Just announcing that fight has been officially announced and is going to happen now Saturday, September 17th on DAZN pay-per-view. This is the third fight for these two guys. Big time showdown right here for the Undisputed Super Middleweight Championship of the world at 168 pounds. Canelo coming off the loss to Dimitri Bivol at 175 light heavyweight. A lot of people wanted to see him and Bivol again. Excuse me, I think Canelo offered Bivol to come down to 168. And the reason for that is Bivol used to offer that earlier on, you know, a couple years ago. He used to say he'll come down to 168 to fight Canelo for the for the title there. And so Canelo offered him, Bivol turned it down, and then Canelo had to decide whether he wanted to go a second time with Bivol at 175 or stay at his more natural weight of 168 and defend against Triple G for a third time, because this was originally part of the 2-fight deal, and I think there was an option for a third fight in there. Again, how that impacts the contract he signed with DAZN, I do not know, but he's sticking to the plan in fighting Triple G for a third time. And Triple G, there's a lot of people that are knocking this fight. There's going to be your fan base of people that are saying, oh, well, what they were saying before, but now maybe a little bit more. I think Canelo losing maybe takes a little bit of the flavor to it. But overall, you have to look at this thing in perspective and really be honest about it. This is your #1 middleweight in the world, unified champion and future Hall of Famer, Triple G Gennady Golovkin, moving up to fight your #1 super middleweight in the world, undisputed super middleweight champion, and still arguably the pound-for-pound king, Canelo Alvarez. So, and remember, I said arguably, I didn't say for sure. I said arguably because Canelo has moved up and down in weight. So, that's really the matchup you have here. I don't care if Canelo's better now and more in his prime now and Triple G is older. That's all the excuse that I've been hearing for years when people want to knock Canelo's resume. And I get upset because I'm like, well, he's fighting the best fighters, but just because you don't like who he's fighting or you don't know who he's fighting, you're going to knock his resume. And I really am tired of him getting knocked for fighting the best. Triple G is the best middleweight in the world, and they have unfinished business. So you take off of the table whether you take Triple G's age off the table, you take Canelo's loss to Bivol in another weight class off the table, and you just look at the facts that Triple G is the unified middleweight champion of the world and the #1 middleweight in the world right now. You can argue your Charlos and Andrades, neither one of them combined have done what Triple G has done. And so, neither one of those guys are the unified champion like Triple G is at middleweight. He just defeated Ryota Murata, a 2012 Olympic gold medalist, very accomplished fighter. He stopped him after like a 1.5 year layoff. So Triple G is ready to go in this fight against Canelo, and he's the #1 middleweight in the world. And then you got Canelo. Yes, he's coming off the loss, but prior to that, he became the undisputed super middleweight champion of the world. In a matter of 11 months, he won all 4 belts, fought 4 times in 11 months, dominating the previous #1 super middleweight in the world and undefeated Callum Smith, dominated him over 12 rounds, stopped an eventual mandatory challenger and Abney Yildirim, got him out of the way, stopped him in 3 rounds. Then he unified against Billy Joe Saunders, the undefeated 2-division world champion, dominated him, broke his orbital bone, 8th round TKO, and then took on undefeated Caleb Plant for the undisputed title and dominated him, stopping him in 11 rounds. So you gotta give credit where credit is due. And these two guys have unfinished business with each other. As I said, first fight went on, and most people feel Triple G won that fight. had it a draw, but it was a close fight. And most people felt Triple G won. Great. Second fight could have went either way. Very, very good fight. I thought Canelo eked it out 7-5 in that area. Very close fight. You know, you could have called it a draw again. I wouldn't have had a problem with if people thought Triple G won. It was that close. It was very good. Now they got to do it again. And you know, it's gonna be a good fight. It's exciting. And here's the last bit that I want to talk about is people need to understand that this fight is happening because Canelo probably doesn't get another crack at Triple G before Triple G loses to somebody else or before Canelo decides to fully move up to light heavyweight. Now, the Bivol loss really messed things up in terms of Canelo's future of, you know, what he was going to do. Because Canelo had his eyes on the Undisputed title at 175. Now he might be doubting that a little more. Now he might be like, yeah, I don't know if I want to move up to 175 as much as I did before. You know, and so now Triple G, yes, he's an option, but it was, and you know, it was one of those things where like Triple G could have moved on and fought Jaime Munguia, and then what happens if he loses? There's no point in Canelo fighting him then. As long as Triple G's still the #1 middleweight, there's a point in Canelo fighting him. But if he loses to somebody else, you know, a younger fighter on the rise, if he loses, then Canelo doesn't get to finish that business with Triple G. He's going to finish the business. That's what this is about. This is a personal rivalry, and I'll tell you a couple more things. There's not a bigger name for Canelo to fight right now. And that's partly why this fight's also happening, because you got to understand the network, DAZN. This is a fight that they wanted years ago when Canelo was in that 11-fight deal. They wanted the Triple G rivalry to happen, the third fight. And now they're going to get paid off finally for the monster contracts they signed Canelo and Triple G to. They shit out a lot of money for this fight to happen. So the network's pushing for this fight too, because Triple G is the biggest name out there for Canelo. And people can argue your Benavidez's, your Charlos, all that shit. They are not bigger names than Triple G. And I'm sorry, as much as, you know, I couldn't stand Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather fought not only the guys, you know, that were coming off of their career biggest wins, he also fought the biggest names in the sport when the fights made sense. You know, so that's what I'm saying right there. You have to understand that Canelo Triple G3 is a big fight. There's a lot riding on the line. And, you know, potentially it's not a bad thing, because if you want to see Canelo fight your Charlos, Andre, Benavidez, then he can't do that if he moves up to 175 to light heavyweight. Those guys, maybe Benavidez chases him to light heavyweight, but I don't think Charlo's moving all the way up to light heavy. So this is a good thing. This is a good fight. I'm happy it got announced, and I can't wait to see it. Saturday, September 17th. Canelo versus Triple G3 for the Undisputed Super Middleweight Champion of the World at 168 pounds. Make sure you tune in for that. And that's it. And for the last time, Canelo versus Triple G3 is on. So if you enjoyed the video, smash the like button, leave a comment, or subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any and all support. This is True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.